Welcome back to another edition of Components Breakdown. Today we're going to be looking at the Battles of Westeros, which is a FFG release game that borrows heavily from the battle lore system that was originally developed by Richard Borg. Today we're going to open up the box, take a look at all the components that come inside, and try to do some comparisons between this and battle lore to give everyone an idea on whether or not this is something they want to purchase or steer clear of. So with that, let's take a look at what comes inside the box. So what actually comes inside the box? Let's open it up and take a look. Just some skirmish cards. Well, that's typical for most FFG games because the way it works is similar to battle lore. There's just not enough room in the box to store everything that comes with the game, not in any kind of reasonable fashion. I'm not the kind of person that likes to use baggies to store most of my games. In this case, you probably could take the insert out and put a bunch of baggies in here, but it just creates one havoc and one big mess. So similar to my battle lore game, I've gone ahead and used an alternative, and that's Plano boxes. As you can see, they are going to be packed full of stuff inside of them. The game ships with one map, two books, one being the rules of play, which is about 30 pages. Again, in typical recent FFG fashion, the rules have been very well explained. I haven't had any problems learning the game. And a secondary book that gives all the battle plans or scenarios for the game. So with that, let's actually open up the cases and pick everything apart and see what comes inside. So now that both of the Plano boxes are open, you see that this game, like most FFG games of this style, it comes with a ton of stuff. And when I mean a ton, there is a ton. So let's take a look at what comes inside. You're going to notice that there are a lot of these plastic figures. They come in two different colors, white and red. Red is for House Lannister, and the white is for House Stark. Those are the two base houses that ship with the game. Now, there's been promise of some of the other sets that come out in the future that new houses will be introduced. The miniatures, and this needs to be noted for everyone, they don't come glued to the bases like the battle lore ones. These all have to be individually glued. I spent probably an hour and a half with super glue in hand and putting each individual figure into their base. That's kind of a chore, and I understand why they did it. Of course, to save cost, and that's probably one of the reasons why it's so expensive to reprint the battle lore stuff now. But just note that when you buy the game, you're going to have to spend about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours if you're not really prepared to move forward with some scissors to snipe some of the loose plastic ends and some super glue getting all these ready. I have painted a couple of them. I'm not a professional painter, as you've seen in some of my other videos. But I would like to paint all of them. It's just going to take me a lot of time to do so. And I don't play the game a whole lot, just because the setup time does take about, I don't know, 10-15 minutes to get ready for a game, and then another 10 minutes to break down. You usually want to get 2 to 3 games in at a time if you can. So knowing that, let's move on and take a look at what else comes. It comes with several banners as well, and flag posts. As you see, I have a bunch of loose ones in here. And moving over to the other Plano box, you see that I've already prepared some for gameplay. A little bit different than the battle lore flags that came out. They fit in to a little slot down there, and they just stick in, and they go right back out if needed to be. Easily interchangeable, and they're probably doing that again for some of the new houses that come out. Very similar to the battle lore system, you have green, blue, and red flags, depending on the how battle-worthy those particular soldiers are. Moving on, you see the game board below, and I showed you that earlier. Ships with several dice, which are 8-sided dice in this game. Some of you guys will notice some of the flags and some of the markers, very similar to some of the battle lore ones. 2 command boards. The command boards are simply placed on your side of the game, and you place your order tokens on them. Of course, one of them takes House Lannister, and the other one takes House Stark. Comes with a victory point track, a morale marker. Morale is very important in this game. It goes up and down. You want it to be away from you and towards the other opponent. These connect in the center right here and form one log track that runs parallel to the game board. It has a a momentum marker, and lots of terrain that are two-sided. There are long pieces of terrain in this game that is not similar to Battlelore, so this is a little bit different. And then you, of course, have several smaller pieces of terrain that likewise are double-sided. There's several order tokens, and they come in 5 different varieties, depending on the color. There is the red, green, and the blue. There is also the morale flag, and then the valor, which is the hand that you see in there. These are the command tokens that you see right there. There are strategy tokens that are used in specific scenarios. There's a bunch of fire tokens, devastation tokens that are again used in different scenarios. There's control markers. These are used on some of the hexes to show which house controls which areas. There are a bunch of special tokens that are used in different scenarios and can be used to build your own scenarios. And these are other terrain tokens that you see here, which are rectangular. Some of them are bridges, some of them are fortifications. It also comes with a couple different decks. There are the decks I have stored here. There's commander cards, which represent each of the unique commanders in the game. There are leadership cards. There's unit reference cards. All these are fairly familiar, are fairly similar to the Battlelore cards that are used. And taking these out, I'm just going to show you briefly what some of them look like. In typical FFG fashion, the artwork is really good, and I'll try to get the glare off. There we go. These are all just command cards. And let me see if I can find some of the... Sorry, I'm not real organized. Here we are. These are some of the commander cards. Some of the people that you'll be commanding in the game, the special units. Over to the side here, these are engagement tokens. These allow for flanking maneuvers in the game. You put these in hexes or between hexes where one unit is engaged with another unit to mark that they're not allowed to break away from that particular unit without taking a penalty. There's also, when a unit flanks someone that is engaged, they also get bonuses to their attacks and to their rolls. So as you can see, there's quite a bit of components in the game. Just note that if you're serious about the game, you're not really going to be able to fit any of this stuff back in the box, not with any kind of real organization. So you're probably going to want to invest in something similar to this or make up your own methods. It's a little bit frustrating for people that like to put everything back in the box. It's just not going to happen with this game, which is either good or bad. It shouldn't sway your opinion one way or another and whether or not you like the game. As far as the game is concerned, it's a lot more fluid than I felt Battlelore was. They've taken a lot of suggestions from the forums, made improvements to the way the battles work. There's a lot more strategy involved in this than there was in Battlelore that I ever felt. Plus, I think the theme comes out a lot better. I never felt like the Battlelore theme was ever really evolved the way it should have been. Throwing in some of the weird units that they did, it never felt like it was cohesive throughout the whole development of the game. Whereas I think they've picked one theme, they've picked one idea, and they're going to roll with it from beginning to end, which is really good. So all in all, I really like this game. I like it much more than Battlelore. I think it's a lot more developed. I think that the units have a lot more strengths to them. Still, archers are kind of weak, which I don't particularly like, but I think they will develop on that as the game evolves. So, if you like what you see here, go out and get the game. Thanks again for watching.